George Lopez said, this is my favorite comedian, Felipe Esparza. When I got off, you can see him at the Bakersfield Fox Theater December 3rd. So how much do you want, Bakersfield?
Here it is, the Bakotunes podcast with mattomunoz. Audio brought to you by Chain Cone Clark.
Greetings, homies and homettes. Welcome to another edition of the Bakotunes podcast. It's your favorite rural Latino host, mattomunoz. On today's show, we have comedian Felipe Esparza. Most people remember Felipe's introduction into the national comedy consciousness after winning NBC's Last Comic Standing reality talent competition in 2010. It was the same year that I first interviewed him and where the opening soundbite was taken from. Working nonstop to spread his talents on club and theater stages across the country, Felipe Esparza also jumped into the podcast arena with his popular web and audio podcast, What's Up, Fool, in 2014, joined by co-hosts Rodrigo Torres, Butch Escobar, and Felipe's wife, Lisa, also known as The Boss. He also expanded his comedy empire recently with a History for Fools podcast, where he and Escobar go on some deep dive history adventures both fools and non-fools will appreciate. I highly recommend it. Currently on the Big Food Tour, we had a great conversation about his life in comedy, Hollywood, a lot of random topics, and of course some insight into the current state of Latinos in comedy, friendships, and all that implies. Now, before we get to the interview, I was asked whether I was going to address this. The only thing I'm going to say regarding the latest controversy between comedians George Lopez, Paul Rodriguez, Willie Barcena, Ralph Barbosa, other podcasters, writers, media outlets, and everybody stirring the pot to keep the shit show over Latinos beefing in the industry is nothing. You guys figure it out. I don't give a shit anymore. Get over it. I'm tired of hearing about it, reading about it, watching it. Everybody figure it out. All of it. Have a beer and fall in love. There's room for everybody. You're all great talents. Just support each other. Now that we got that shit out of the way, let's get to it. Here's Felipe Esparza on the Bakotunes podcast. We'll get this going. I really appreciate you taking the time, man. Seems like you're getting busier and busier, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I've been following your career for many years. I was actually looking back at my notes that the last time I interviewed you was November 30th, 2010, when you were at the Fox Theater. And it was around that time when like people were really starting to get to know who you were. Like What's Up, Fool? Like, you know, that was really starting to become part of people's conversations. Like you went somewhere, what's up, fool? You know, it was just like everywhere at that time. But now, you know, it's become like a permanent part of Chicano conversation. It's become very, very mainstream all over the place. I'm kind of bounce around a lot. So the origins of the Fool comedy, I mean, your evolution as a comic, you know, you won Last Comic Standing in 2010. I believe that was right after when I interviewed you. So you were already going on that trajectory. Like
was I performing somewhere in Bakersfield too?
Yeah. You were performing in Bakersfield like a couple days later. So yeah, it was just like, you know, you were really bursting onto the scene as far as Bakersfield. Like that was the first time like I had ever spoken with you, and you know, everybody got to know you through Last Comic Standing. So it was like right after you won that, like the doors, you know, now it's Felipemania, man. I mean, it's 13 years later, you know. Damn. I mean, you're like a multimedia guy. You got podcasting, you got your shows. I listen to History for Fools.
Oh, thanks, man.
But I just listened to I finished up the latest episode today about the Latin cinema, and I was cracking up because so many of the stories that you told about those films, like I totally remember all that stuff because I'm from McFarland. So in Delano, which was 7 miles north, there was a theater called the Sierra Theater. And it was around the corner from the English theater in Delano, which was a little tiny one. You only had like maybe 40, 50 seats in it. Around the corner, they only showed Spanish. So when you drove by there, we're like, we're never going to go over there because it's only Spanish films. But they would always have those posters with like the ladies with like the big boobs hanging out. And, or like, I remember there was one, and my friends, we always laugh about it because the movie was called El Ratero. And he was looking at the cops, and he's like flipping them out like this. Being from the Central Valley, and like my neighbors being from Nuevo León, it's like they all those stories that you told about Kentucky Fried Chicken, warming up the buckets. Oh my God, man, I'm just fucking crying.
The people who don't know, like new immigrants in America or Chicanos that live here forever, they don't know that once we taste KFC or McDonald's, we ain't going back.
No, I know, man. I know. And then they had Pioneer Chicken. Pioneer Chicken was the thing over here.
Pioneer Chicken, we used to have 2 in LA.
Yeah. I think there's one left. That's what I read.
That one, I think the one in, I don't know. I wouldn't even know where that one is no more. Because there used to be one over there in Buena Park back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And one in Whittier. But they went downhill because I remember they started selling menudo and shit. Oh, that's what happens. You know, like the movie The Founder.
Yeah.
The first McDonald's, they couldn't keep track of the other McDonald's because they were selling other stuff.
Yeah.
So that what happened to Pioneer. Like everybody went their separate ways.
Yes,
Pioneer Chicken, their gravy glowed in the dark. It was yellow, bro.
I know, man. Well, yeah, just so that you know, like I've been listening to the History for Fools podcast and all that stuff, and you and Butch Escobar,
I forgot to comment, but you know this. You know what's up. You like movies. That at the same time where Mexico was going humor and nudity, like a lot of nasty, pretty much rated X. Nudity and comedy. America was going dark and horror, bro. At the same time.
Totally.
I remember telling my mom that all the movies here in America are scary. But in Mexico, they're nasty.
Yeah.
So they're showing Halloween. Fucking Jason is stabbing somebody with a spear while they're making love.
Yeah.
Over here, Vicente Fernandez with a woman with a big bush singing a song.
I was trying to think of that one. Like it made me start. I'm going to put a search for the one that you talked about. I heard it today was, you said, it was like the dudes that did the threesome with the South African chick.
Yeah, bro. Tintorera.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah, man. Andres Garcia, that blonde South African lady, the white dude. It was like Jaws, bro. I don't know if they went out there to fish or have a threesome or kill sharks. But that white dude ended up being killed by that shark. And then, like, she couldn't be with him alone. She needed the other guy, too. So they broke up. It was like, ¿y tu mamá también?
Yeah.
Y también un tiburón.
Had to throw in the shark. Well, man, sharks were everywhere. It was like, the 70s, all that stuff. But let's get to this interview because there's a lot of stuff to cover. I want to talk about some of these current things, and I know that you address on your podcast, especially when you have no guests. You kind of bounce all over the place, and the conversations are what I appreciate because it sounds like I'm sitting around with my friends. We're so Chicano that you just tune into this stuff. That's why I never watch the video version. I always listen to the audio because I feel like I'm in the room with you guys instead. Yeah, I'm closer like that. But like the politics of cholos, man, the politics of the cholo ticks, it seems like since podcasting has become really big, that you started to see a lot of this stuff like American Cholo, and then there's the Daily Chela, and this guy, Brandon Maxwell.
There's a guy named, I don't know if he's a Cholo, but he's a little gordito. He's pretty good. He's the only. We gave him a shout out last night because he's the only one that he was not anti anything. He was breaking it down. This guy named Smooth Vega.
All right.
He got 1.9 on his version of it. 1.9 views, bro. Man. And he just broke it down, man. He broke it down, and he was the only one that was like the voice of reason. Like he didn't really go out there and hate George, just hate George. That's why I remember. Those podcasts you just mentioned, they went for the kill, bro. They just went for George without even knowing his background, without even knowing all his foundation, without even knowing that George rescues dogs.
Oh yeah.
They just yeah. Because you know what, bro? Between you and I went to the page to see how these Mexicans look. They were all güeros, bro. They were not dark like me, bro. They were all. They were the kind of Latinos that can't believe that someone who looked like George has a show. Because they're the kind of Mexican. Because I remember saying this one time about the Lopez show, all of George Lopez show. I said, here in America, someone who looks like George and someone who looks like me and Luis Guzman have a big ass chance to have a television show. in Mexico, forget about it.
Oh, no way.
They would never put a guy who looked like George in the news. He'll probably be a correspondent in the weather out there next to the volcano. Jorge Lopez aquí en el volcán. ¿Qué caliente está? You know, or
I mean, you look at Mexico, you look at Mexican TV now. I mean, especially like my wife and I, we went to Mexico City. We stayed over there in like the Condesa, and we went over there for Dia de los Muertos. And my wife is white, but you know, she fits in. You know, when you go into Mexico City, they start talking to her in Spanish, thinking she's Mexican. You know, because like all the TV shows and everything like that. I mean, any place in Latin America. Since you're bringing up the whole George thing, I've been following this George thing for a long time. Now I've interviewed everybody over the years, because George, I mean, his career, he built a foundation right here in Bakersfield, you know, through Doug Castro, Icon Concerts,
also,
homies of mine.
What's the name? We used to bring him, Leonard Velasquez.
Leonard Velasquez here at the Fox.
Yeah, the Fox and the Fox in Visalia.
So we'll see the Central Valley. Like I've interviewed George, Fluffy, Paul Rodriguez, Carlos Mencia many times, Joey Medina. Yeah. But you know, I've never had, and you know, every time I've interviewed each of you individually, I've never had issues with anybody being very candid about their past, you know, their presence life. I will say this, that, you know, the George Lopez has always been the one that's always been a little bit more reserved. However, he's always been real cool, although he did cancel on me twice before he came to the show to Bakersfield the last time. And, you know, so I started following his podcast and everything like that. I started seeing, man, he's a little bit standoffish at times. And I don't know if it's because, you know, they're drinking, or he kind of has to put something on or anything like that. But I've hung out with Fluffy backstage after he did the big Comedy Central show, and he was walking around with no shirt and introduced me to his family. And everybody's cool, but it's only George.
That's gross.
I know. He looked like, dude, he was like a perfectly smooth, round dough.
You know that movie, that movie with Brendan Fraser, The Whale?
Yeah.
They modeled that fat suit of Gabriel Iglesias.
No way.
Yeah. If you watch The Whale,
you
could see, like, there's a part where there's a Hawaiian t-shirt laying on the floor.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it, man.
Like, they might get an Oscar for the fat suit. But Gabriel came in, and they in the green screen, and they modeled him because he had like a 450 body frame.
Yeah.
And then after they made the mold, they put it on Brendan Fraser. He don't want to get credit for it.
Break time. We'll be back. It's the Bakotunes podcast with Matt Munoz.
So Carlos Mencia, I want to talk about the relationship between Latino comedians and like Latino comedians in the present, like who was big, who was coming up, everything like that. Obviously, you right now, you're in this moment where like everybody knows you, but you've worked and worked and worked. Everybody knows George Lopez. I followed all you guys as a Latino, as a fan, as somebody who respects the work and everything that you guys have been able to continue on, jumping into new forms of media. Of course, the George Lopez shows, all the shows he's done and all the controversies and all that stuff. Carlos Mencia, kind of his fall from grace. I mean, he was on the biggest show on Comedy Central. Following Carlos Mencia, because he was just here not too long ago. He sold out 2 shows at a local brewery on the February 3rd. Do you think time has healed his reputation amongst his peers?
I think, man, people should just let that shit go now, man. But every time something happens, they gotta bring back the video. And to a lot of young people, it's like they're watching it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
They think it happened yesterday. Man, I don't understand, because when Amy Schumer blatantly stole those 3 jokes, she had a chance to go on the Jim Norton show and redeem herself, you know, and fight her case. Carmen Mencia never had a chance to fight his case. And like, I feel that when a white guy steals jokes, they forgive him, bro. That when Joe Rogan, if you go through his old videos, he was talking about, he went on Howard Stern, he went somewhere, he was talking about how Dane Cook steals and Mencia steals, right? And blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I feel like I never seen Dane Cook steal, you know. I never seen Mencia steal. I just know from the videos. But man, it's like those guys, I feel like if you're a white comic and you steal jokes, you get a pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's right there in front of you, man. Like when Amy Schumer, nothing against her, I think she's hilarious. But when they accuse her of stealing jokes and they put the tape together, boom, it disappeared like that. She still went out to do movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as like big comedians, what I'm doing now, being known and selling out comedy clubs and some theaters. When I started, my first time in Sacramento, I was opening for Jim Pompa and Stuli McCullough. That's a little handicapped dude from Drinking the Juice.
Yeah.
The only people that were selling out all the punchlines and all the improvs, like they were selling out the shows before they showed up. Like me, I touched down on Phoenix, and they just added a show, and it's barely selling out. Those guys were selling out. Carlos Mencia and George Lopez were the only ones selling out shows when I started doing stand-up. So from then till now, they're still selling out shows. So they've been selling out shows for 25 years, bro. 28 years. Whether it's, I don't think Carlos Mencia and George Lopez, since I've been doing comedy, ever done a show that's empty.
Yeah.
And a lot of comedians can't say that. You know, like even the young comedian, you know, Ralph Barbosa, you know, he's new. He's moving up at the same rate as Angela Johnson when she blew up off the internet.
Yeah.
And she pretty much has not had an empty show since that happened. And Ralph Barbosa, you know, he's selling out shows. We'll see how that goes in the future. I'm pretty sure we'll have the same success or even more than Angela Johnson. But are they going to be doing this for 30 years? Or, you know, or the internet is going to get tired of both Angela and Ralph one day? We don't know that. Because later on, there'll be a newer person doing the thing, what they're doing. But you can't take that away from Carlos Mencia and George Lopez, man. Like, damn, bro. Like, damn. Like, selling out shows in the beginning.
Yeah.
When Fluffy was headlining in the beginning, there was empty. There was like empty room, empty. It wasn't full, bro.
Yeah.
It happened to later on. But man, I mean, who else can you say that they've been selling out shows for 25 years? Like even when Mencia went in his down spiral, you know what I mean? Still sold out shows.
Yeah.
He sold out 10,000 seat arenas, but he's still selling out 5,000, 2,500. A lot of the people who talk bad about these two comics in the comments, they don't know this. They don't even know this. They don't know. They probably can't even think of somebody that's done this. Like when Mencia was doing this, and so was George. You still haven't heard of Bill Burr. They were over there, and they were in Boston still. They were in New York.
Yeah.
You know, all those comedians were in New York. I would think that the only comedian that was pretty much Kevin Hart was working on his 20 minutes probably still. And the only other comedian that I could say that was selling out the way they were was Dane Cook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was huge, man. They were like the trifecta.
Yeah. No, Cook, he ain't selling out. He ain't selling out arenas no more. I mean, I don't know if he's still doing stand up, but these two guys, man, like they had their ups and downs, but they're still like, damn, man, like people still come and see them.
Yeah, no, I saw the both George Lopez and Mencia.
It looks like they're dead, you know, because the internet lies. You know, social media lies. But in reality, these guys have, probably sure Mencia has 3 houses somewhere, bro, hiding.
Oh, yeah, yeah, totally. No, I've seen both George, Carlos, and Fluffy go from the theaters in Bakersfield to all 3 of them gone to the arena. At the peak of Carlos Mencia's fame, I remember when he came to the arena, and we spent a lot of time together, even before his show. He didn't need to be alone, locked up in his room. Is that he rolled out on a Harley. Like, that's how big he was. He came out on a Harley onto the stage with a giant screen behind him and all that stuff. And after it was over, I mean, it was at 10,000 people.
Bro, that that Harley motorcycle idea was my idea.
Was it?
Nah, just kidding, eh? I said it on a radio station, and he must have heard it.
Yeah, but afterwards,
I'm afraid of motorcycles.
Yeah, afterwards, he came out and he hung out with a bunch of veterans like in the thing. And I remember I was writing for a magazine in town, and it was called Mas Magazine. It was a magazine for Latinos, and it was written in English. And I was all excited because I get this cover story, and Carlos Mencia is going to be on it. I'm going to give it to him because he was the top comedian at the time. And I got the magazine, and I was about to go hand it to him, and I looked at it, and in the bottom right corner, there's a picture of Carlos Mencia with his hands out. This famous thing. He's like pointing at the thing. It's a thing. But in the bottom corner, there was a big red headline teasing a story, and it was said, "That darn spot." And it was about, there was a story inside for women on how to remove period stains. And I couldn't give him the fucking magazine, but I did anyway. And he was like, "Oh, thank you, man." I was like, "Please don't look in the corner. Please don't look in the corner." Anyway, so he liked it. But I want to come back to you, man. I saw you on Hintified.
Yeah.
Crazy Dave. Marvin Lemus, he's from Bakersfield. He always represents for Bakersfield. I love the story about Eddie Murphy on the set of You People that you've told a few times.
Have you heard Andrew Schultz say it?
No.
Yeah. Andrew Schultz talked about it on his podcast. What happened was Andrew Schultz was there before me with Eddie. And I guess he mumbled his lines in front of Eddie. And then they moved on. And that's when I came in. And right before I said anything, Eddie Murphy said, "Man, you're a funny motherfucker, man." And I was like, what? Let me tell you, but after that, I felt like 10 feet tall, bro. I felt like the big gorilla. Like, I feel like I can't go wrong. I'm invisible. I'm on top of the world. I could buy myself on anything. Like Bill Murray and Kingpin, when he won, he was all cocky. And they asked him, because Woody Harrelson had no hand, and they asked him, "Mr. McCracken, was there any, were you nervous? Was there any, did you worry about anything during the whole match?" "Yes." "Were you afraid?" "Yes. I was afraid to lose to a guy to a hook with a hook."
Well, you know what? Seeing you pop up in these shows, like every once in, like, especially like the Hintified, because I was a big fan, man. I was going to support Marvin, everything like that. But like, I remember you were talking about your podcast about Latino cinema. Like, you always remember the Latino characters.
Yeah.
Because of like the cholo that shows up in the scene, of course, man. It's like even musicians, Johnny Vatos from Oingo Boingo, the Voodoo Glow Skulls, man. Big fans of those guys. I've interviewed George.
The cholos from fucking Napoleon Dynamite. That one cholo from 315 high.
Oh yeah, your name, and the sister. Your name is Napoleon.
Yeah.
Okay, now the allure of East LA and Boyle Heights to Hollywood, that seems to be a big thing. When that show Vida, I don't know if did you ever see that show Vida that was on Stars?
No, I never saw it.
Okay, so it took place in Boyle Heights. It was a bar. It was like very Latinx. Had a lot of LGBTQ themes in it. Melissa Barrera, who's in Scream, she was in it. And when that show happened,
about that show, I know that show. I had that guy on a podcast, the skinny guy. I grew up in Boyle Heights, and the whole show is a lie.
Really?
There's only one good-looking person in Boyle Heights, and everybody's ugly. I don't care where you go in Boyle Heights. You're gonna walk in there, and you're gonna see the hottest gordita and the hottest skinny chick, but they're not gonna all be the same weight. And there's only one guy that's good-looking in Boyle Heights ever. That was my brother Angel, right? That's it.
Well,
when I was cops.
When that happened, when that show came out, it was like what I went online to kind of see if people were supporting it, because it was such a rarity. Like before that, the only show that I remember was East Los High, and then the only way you knew about East Los High was if you had Hulu, and not everybody had Hulu. So I caught up on all those episodes, and the show started out good, and then it kind of started to fall off. It just kind of went real weird.
Show, bro. I remember having a joke about it after a while. I said, "Man, one thing about Latin theme shows is that, like, it's crazy. It's like it's not like in real life. Like in real life, your grandfather sexually assaults you. It's a big deal, right? On television, they just have a dance off.
Yeah,
like you tell them, my uncle touched my pee-pee. Carmen, you need to relax. We're gonna make finals." You can't bring that kind of pressure. We're about to have a dance off. with Hollaback Junior High.
Yeah, you know what? Well, for people over here, us over in the Central Valley in Bakersfield, some of these shows, it kind of is the only kind of look that we have looking up from the outside. So the whole argument of gentrification happening in that area, when the Vida show came out, it started to seem like people were already talking about gentrification because we used to go to Silver Lake and party all the time. But like even Silver Lake, Echo Park has changed a lot. All clubs of the restaurants are gone and all that stuff. But when you started talking about East LA, Boyle Heights was changing. I know that that show Vida wasn't even filmed in Boyle Heights. It was filmed in another area because I think the people were kind of pushing them out and they didn't want to have to deal with a lot of the pushback. But, Latinos are everywhere. But what other parts of LA would make a good backdrop for a Latino themed dramedy instead, if it wasn't Boyle Heights? Because it seems they always pick the same places in LA for these shows. What other part of LA would make a good backdrop?
I guess because they didn't like using Boyle Heights, and because I think they shoot in Boyle Heights because Boyle Heights is a character of the show. Now, like when you shoot it like in Linwood, like who wants to shoot in Linwood? Who wants to shoot in Porterville? Unless you're doing a racist movie, Porterville will be perfect. But when we were shooting Gentrified, there were some people there that were protesting us, but I guess Marvin and them, they were afraid to talk about it, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
When we were shooting the scenes, this Chicana chick showed up and she just kept yelling during the whole scene, bro. Like, Boyle Heights is not for sale. Boyle Heights is not for sale. Boyle Heights is not for sale. And then Latino owned. Then I remember I told him, man, why don't you shut up, man? Give me your shoes.
Yeah.
Nike. You think those are made by a Mexican? And I started calling her out, and they had to tell me to leave her alone.
Oh,
nobody
man.
was talking. And I told her, bitch, I'm from Boyle Heights. What up?
Yeah.
And then I shut her up, bro. I told her to get the fuck out of here.
What you being from that area? Did you see a lot of people that you knew coming out to protest?
Those people right there have a narrative. Have a narrative, bro. Their narrative is get these hipsters out of here, blah 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 blah. We don't want nothing here. So that's what I explained it to her. No, this is just a Latino production. Everybody here is Latino. I'm Mexican, and I grew up over there. My mom might pass by. Shut up, get out, bro. She don't want to hear it, bro, because she wants her narrative. She lives by that narrative. She can't hear another side. You know what I mean? She can't hear that we're all Latinos and we're making a show here. She just saw 3 white cameramen and she went nuts.
No, man, no. I read a lot about all that stuff, and people were trying to push other shows that might be coming up in production at that time, and they probably never got off the ground. But I was like, well, here's the show you should be supporting, because you saw the cast, you saw everybody that was involved, and of course Marvin, for being from Bakersfield. I mean, shit, man, we never get those type of props. We just that Colin Kaepernick documentary just came out about Kern County being one of the most deadliest places in the state. It's just like, we don't want, people already know that story, but we don't always get to hear these kind of success stories, man. So that's why following you is always so cool, because I love the podcast, What's Up Fool? And I could tell, like, when you first started it and the quality of the audio, I kind of started it right when it started getting really good,
bro. The little 3 mic.
Yeah.
Handheld.
Yeah. It's really clean.
The idiot was standing too far in episode 1.
Yeah. So what drew you into podcasting, man?
I got approached by Al Madrigal and Bill Burr when they started All Things Comedy, and they wanted me to do a podcast, and they wanted me to pair up with somebody. Like, I was supposed to pair up at first with Chingo Bling, but then I think Chingo Bling was living in Los Angeles at the time, or somewhere in Hollywood, with his wife, and then he ended up going back to Texas, so he couldn't do that. And then I was supposed to do it with Johnny Sanchez. He's from Tulare, and we didn't do it. I think we never got a hold of each other. And then I said, I'm gonna just do a What's Up Fool podcast on my own, and I started recording it first. And then when I told them, I already got 3 episodes. I did 7 episodes first, so I could have a month to think about the next guest.
Yeah. Well, it seems like,
So,
I mean, all you got to do is turn on the microphone, man. You guys are like great conversationalists, man. I'm telling you, it's like, I'm just hanging out with the homies. Like, next thing you know, it's like, man, it's already been 2 hours. And I know that a lot of people have written to you saying that it like keeps them company on their, they're doing their rounds or security rounds. I totally feel that, man.
my favorite one was the Hulk, when we interviewed the Hulk from Hollywood.
Oh, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that one then.
It's the guy that he puts on a costume and he walks.
Oh, the one on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah. We interviewed that motherfucker. He had a great story.
Oh, shit. The Voodoo Glow Skulls, the Fat Randy remix. You
yeah.
know, was that with Frank Voodoo? Was that like the? Oh man,
I was there. I was there when we recorded. I was there going, "What's up, fool?" at the mic.
So do you go way back with those guys?
Yeah, because the co-host Rodrigo Torres, he grew up with them.
Oh.
He used to work with them when they used to own a record store.
Oh yeah, I remember that in Riverside.
Yeah, so they used to own a record store, and Rodrigo used to work there. And that's how. And then he went on tour with them, selling merch when he was 16 years old.
Classic band. And the Butch Escobar, who is one of the perfect co-hosts for you, man. Like, how far do you guys go back?
I met him like in 2004, 6, I think, or 7, or yeah, around that time. I did a show. He booked me at a show over there, and no, I was booked in San Jose Improv, and there was a guy there that booked me named Pete Munoz, and then I met him there with some other guys.
I mean, he could be like a million dudes I've known in my lifetime. The way he talks, he laughs. Like I tell you, when I just listened to the audio, I pictured like different homies from my past because they all have that same type of laugh and they say fool and like just that conversational style you guys got going on, man. Let me see. History for Fools, the podcast. What are you guys going to be moving into next after Latino
Pirates,
cinema?
bro.
Pirates?
Yeah, because we're gonna do the history of pirates, break down buccaneers, profiteers, privateers, and stadios. I think they're siarios. They're Spanish pirates. Because I've been listening to podcast audibles for a while now. Like I'm on my second book, and what I noticed now, bro, is that because I've been to Philadelphia, I've been to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Why the Pittsburgh Pirates? And I realized that a shitload of pirates will bring in shit to Philadelphia and sell it there, I guess. No, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Captain Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
So these were the colonies still, right? It's just 1678, bro. The year, the decade of pirates went way before the American Revolution. But right now, where I'm at in 1678, there's already tension, bro, with the coloners and England, because the coloners are dealing and buying black market shit from pirates, bro, and they're fucking getting rich and not sending no money back to England. Like the governors, I don't want to, in a third world country, like some countries, like India or even Mexico. In Mexico, you could bribe a governor or a mayor.
Oh yeah.
Well, Philadelphia and Pennsylvania was like that during the pirates. A pirate could come in with 5,000 pounds of gold, bro. Give that fool 500. Now this fool's a mayor, bro.
When you were talking about that, one of the history of gangs and all that stuff, when you were talking about gangs of New York and everything like that, which was also hilarious because it seems like, man, we must have had the same upbringing, because it seems like every time you start talking about vintage movies, vintage shows, the things that you notice about things, I'm like, man, I don't know what it is, man, but maybe we must have been brothers in another life, man, because I find myself fucking busting up on shit.
They say that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm watching these, I'm watching that show, or I see Mozart, right? And I would wonder, man, why the little handkerchief in here,
Yeah.
But every time they would walk through town, it stunk, bro. They'll take it out and go.
No shit. I know.
It stunk, man. That was before sanitation. Like, people were throwing their shit in the streets.
Just like, yeah. How did people possibly have sex back in those days, man? Like,
bro,
how many roses did they have to rub all over themselves?
And these pirates, bro, man, you must have smelled that pirate ship coming in a mile away, bro.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers must have stunk, bro.
Yeah. Hey, did you ever see?
With a cold sore and shit?
Yeah, you know what? Did you? I know that you talk about a lot of cult movies and stuff like that. But speaking of pirates, do you remember that movie called The Island? That was the Peter Benchley book that came out after Jaws that he did.
No,
it had Michael Caine and his son are out. They're out sailing somewhere and they get lost and they come across this island that has like descendants of the pirates.
Yeah,
and it came out after Jaws, and so they tried to make it another big movie like that, and it was a flop. But it has one of the most gnarly wipeout scenes at the end, man, with Michael Caine. You have to go back and see that. Just that scene.
Island?
It's called The Island, yeah.
With Michael Caine. You seen that movie, The Fog?
Oh yeah.
Ghost pirate ship, right?
Yeah. Anything like that. Oh man. Well, let's talk about your show, man. So, like, you're on this tour right now, the Big Food Tour. Bakersfield is sold out, like we said. We already knew that. You know, so many Latino and non-Latino comedians have built their careers in front of Central Valley audiences, man, because we're 90 minutes from LA. We're 2 hours from, that's it. That's the one. You got to see it, man.
The poster, though. Yeah, I never seen it, but I remember, like, they tried to make it look like Jaws with that knife.
Yeah. They tried to capitalize on that stuff, man. Really great cast. And I know that they had big plans for it, but no, man. Everybody says read the book. So if you like to read books, they say read the book, but the movie is worth a look just because of how outrageous it is.
Bro, on the bottom of the description on Wikipedia, it says the pirates who have lived undisturbed in the area for centuries see father and son as new blood for their increasingly inbred clan.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, man. They tried to bring the son in to turn him against Michael Caine. Yeah, it's wild, man. It was one of those, you know, when you had Star Channel or Movie Channel, they only showed one movie a day, and so you fucking memorize that fucking shit. You know, like every big Latino comedian has history here. You know, what is it like going to places far away from California and seeing huge Latino audiences? Because I know you've commented on running into like these like big cholo groups that are like can out cholo the California cholos in these certain areas of the nation, man. It's wild, you know, because we're everywhere. But how is it to see that kind of crowd come out like in the heartland and shit?
It's weird, man, especially like when I go to Fort Myers, like Naples, Florida. I thought that I would see mostly like Cubans, people from Venezuela or Panamanians, you know, or Caribbean Latinos. But now, man, there's a shitload of Mexicans, bro. And they look like people from California or they migrated over there, but they talk from somebody from Florida. Like they live over there, but they're like cholos who wrestle gators, eh?
Really?
Yeah, then I go to places like and like over there in Orlando, there's a place where a lot of Mexicans live, their own community. It's called Waimama, Florida. And I made a joke about it. I guess the Mexicans live in Waimama and the blacks live in Baby Mama.
What okay, now we asked you about like where the Latinos, the concentrations have been like have embraced you. What about the places
live in Saint Mama?
What about the places where you've been like the jokes don't go over? Like, you know, everybody has a place, or maybe I'm breaking into that place, but like, you know, the life of a comedian. I mean, bands have these struggles too, man. But like, where have been some of the hardest places to break that? Maybe you've gone the first time, but you've come back, and then boom.
I'm gonna say Edmonton, Canada.
Yeah.
Edmonton in Canada. I was in Edmonton, and like some jokes didn't work because they don't have it over there. Like and then like
because you think they're Latino, but they're not. Maybe because
But then by the second show, I already worked it out, you know, in my head, and I go like this. Well, I started walking around here, and I realized that Indian people are the Mexicans of Canada, and everybody laughs.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, they're brown, they work hard, they're visible, but they're not on television, just like us.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
They don't have an Indian. There's no TV show. The
Yeah.
BB said no.
Yeah. So what's
But
not what?
I didn't realize how much of a socialist country that Canada is.
Mm-hmm.
So when I turn on TV, there's only one channel, and it's all government, like the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're allowed to have, like, if you want to have a television studio, you can do a bunch of shows, but there has to be one show that's ethnically Canadian. That has to be pro-Canadian. That's why on that comedy show SCTV, they kept telling him when they had that show Second City TV in Canada, the television show,
Mm-hmm.
and they had it over here. We had Saturday Night Live. The Canadian government had to tell SCTV that you can have the SCTV show, the comedy show, but there has to be a segment of your show that's ethnically Canadian.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why Rick Moranis and the other guy made the most ethnically like Canadian show they could think of. And there were those two guys, hey, drink beer, hey.
Oh yeah. Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Bob and Doug McKenzie was the answer to the government to have an ethnically Canadian show.
Yeah.
So they said you can't go any Canadian in this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody was saying, hey. I mean, that was so big. Take off, eh? I mean, and like, it was that was such a huge thing, man. That song with Rush, with the guy from Rush.
So when I was in Edmonton, it was weird, bro, because I never been in a mall that has a smoke shop and a sex shop, like lingerie and vibrators.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like the mall was huge, bro, but then there was a dark side where they had that type of shit, like dildos and bombs and knives. And inside of the mall, they had a water park.
Uh-huh.
And when you walk into the water park, the heat, it felt like you were at the beach, and there was a fake beach with fake waves and fake sand, bro. At a water park over there. But the waves keep coming in, bro, and it felt like 89 the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
And then I would walk outside, it's back to fucking 10 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was weird. So I just made wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
If I'm in another country, I know what jokes to say.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, the people that come to my show now, they know me. They know my personality. They know my style. They get a chance to Google me and find out what I'm about. And then when they hear me, they know it. They understand.
Yeah.
I don't really go into too many places where they don't get the jokes.
Mm-hmm. Like
maybe in the beginning, when I first started doing stand-up comedy, I went somewhere and didn't get my jokes. I think it was in no, they got it, but somebody told me, oh, over here, there's no like black and white, black this, white that.
Yeah.
That's what did she say? That's what you do in the States, she said. It was in Amsterdam.
Uh-huh.
But I don't care, bro. I don't care what that lady said, bro. People walking up to me and telling me I killed.
Yeah. You've worked nonstop. What's the longest hiatus you've been on? Without working? Yeah. Pandemic. Just a pandemic. Well, I mean, you were still doing stuff online and everything like that, but just like no comedy, no nothing. I just don't want to do anything. Never? No, you've always continued. Yeah. Yeah. Always writing. Yeah. You write stuff down? Do you have books? You have piles and piles of books, notes? No, I have lots of books. Not here though. Yeah. I went through a bunch of moleskins. I lost a lot of moleskins. Mm-hmm. When I think of a joke, now if I'm like, I have a notepad near me, I record it. Let me see, try to find one real quick. Right, this one right here. Because they approach you very quietly, They go, you gotta watch out for the quiet women, man. They're the most horniest ones, man. They don't like to show it off. They walk up like you have a quiet tia walk up to you and go, "Mijo, te la chupo, sígueme." Hey, what's been the most rewarding, or what is the most rewarding thing about being a comedian, man, to you? I mean, I could say, oh, it's seeing people laugh, but what is the most rewarding thing to you?
I think just hearing the laugh and getting the high out of it. I'm addicted to the laughter. But I don't know, man. Last night I was emailing this white dude who lives in Timbuktu, Pennsylvania, somewhere in Pennsylvania where they call the cops constable, I guess.
Yeah.
They still have the old English laws, I guess. But he's a weirdo, bro, up there in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
This fool emailed me in 2015, all fucked up, bro. He was like a heroin addict. And he was saying, hey man, I just saw your comedy. I was trying to find heroin, but I'm gonna wait till morning and I saw your special. Oh man, it brightened up my day. And then him and I started corresponding on Facebook. And then he was telling me that he goes, I told him, you ever thought of quitting, man? And then so he started talking to me. And then one day he goes, oh man, I just lost my kids. I lost my wife. He goes, and then I sent that for I did the work for him. I Googled, I go, give me your zip code, homie. And I found his zip code and I went in a rabbit hole, bro, trying to find him motherfucker rehab somewhere in Pennsylvania where he lives. Then I found one, but he said that his neighbor sells heroin. So I just sent him a list, of 8 NA meetings and places where he could go.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear from this fool for a while. He goes, Felipe, I finally took you to a rehab, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's good, man, blah, blah, blah. But he was sending me these long monologues, bro, long letters.
Yeah.
I would just say, good luck, Because I think when people have problems, they just want to vent. They don't want to solve the problems. So anyways, so I didn't hear from this fool for a while. I thought this fool died because he didn't respond.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2017, he hits me up. Hey, man, I've been fucking sober a year. I have a new girlfriend. I went to Playa del Carmen. That made me feel good, bro, that little attention I gave him by responding that one time. And just that one time, we became friends on Facebook. And he's like 3 years sober now. I talked somebody out of jumping off a roof.
You keep in touch with a lot of longtime fans?
Yeah, man. Some fans hit me up, bro, when they're like, if you take my Twitter right now,
mm-hmm.
when I promoted my podcast, that video, it's a guy that every time he tweaks out, he sends me videos, bro. Like, Felipe, I couldn't hang a rehab. And he hits the pipa, and he records himself shoplifting, and he sends it to me so I could laugh.
Oh man. I follow your Twitter too. I've responded to some of your tweets. There's some funny stuff on there. Oh man, I could just imagine what you get. What are some of the venues that are on your wish list to aspire to reach?
I'm so used to having like people like 2,000 people there, 5,000, maybe one time 5,000. I don't know, man. If I could, when I think about 10,000 people being there or 20,000, I always, and then there's a big screen, of a giant Felipe Esparza on screen, and there's 25,000 people. I mean, I feel like they're not watching comedy no more, Ray. Mm-hmm. They're watching a movie, bro. They're watching television. I don't know, man. It's tough to think about that because I know that Gabriel Iglesias did Dodger Stadium. Yeah. That's a big ass event, bro. Like big, but where do you go from there? What's next?
Yeah.
Like when Kevin Hart, he did where the Eagles play, he sold that out like 89,000 people, I guess. And then where do you go from there, man? What's next? I mean, the money is awesome, but I don't know, man. I think for me it would be to just star in another movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's big to me. That's bigger than doing a 100,000 arena.
Yeah, you going out doing a lot of auditions?
I don't know. I'm doing the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles October 7th. I just want that shit to sell out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you going? Speaking of movies, because we'd love to see you on more things and more than just one little bit part as Crazy Dave or something like that. You got anything on the horizon? Any movies?
I just finished wrapping my episode of This Fool on Hulu.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I'm a little
Love that
different,
show.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, how is it work? How is it working with your wife? Because she oversees a lot of the stuff. She's the one who helped set this up, so I appreciate it because I was sick the original time that we were supposed to do the interview. But how's it working with your wife?
It's easy, bro. You can sexually harass her, and she can't call HR.
Was it your idea to have her oversee your operation, or was it hers?
It was both of our ideas. Was she had a master's degree, and a bachelor's degree in business, and and I didn't even know what else, and a lot of stuff. And she's smart, and she knows stuff, bro. Like, might as well, bro.
She's always on the podcast, right?
Yeah, she's a boss.
Yeah. So she always comes in, which is great. That's all
mainly
you
my
need.
manager too, though. Like, she could take on clients right now if she wants to, but she don't have the time, I guess. But she's mainly like my manager. Like, she gets everything, she sees it, like she knows what's up, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they offered her the one time when I was gonna go to another agency. This was a deal, bro. They were gonna give her a job in agency and make me the client. That's how badly they wanted us.
Wow, man.
But they were gonna give her a job at the agency to be the agent, to be my agent and manager at that company. And then she could have taken on more clients, but she was raising a son. She didn't have time for that.
How many kids you got?
3, and they don't even know each other.
I've heard you talk about your kids before. So
they're good, bro. My son, he's a producer of the History for Food podcast.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
And my son, he works for FedEx as a driver, so he just drives 8 hours or 6 to Tucson and back, and then loads and comes back. And my daughter, she lives in Sweden. She has I think she has breast cancer. She's a pelona, bro. She lives in Sweden.
Oh, well, I hope is she on the mend? Is she okay? Is she gonna be all right?
You got her a wig, bro. It looks sexy on her.
I was listening back to the 2010 interview because I saved all the audio from all my interviews when I would transcribe and stuff like that. And there's an audio clip on there, and you said George Lopez gave you a shout out on his show. He said you were his favorite comedian, and he says he's going to be at the Fox Theater. I don't know. Did you used to do warm-ups? Did you used to do anything on his show?
No, he was talking about Que Locos.
Oh, okay.
When he hosted Que Locos, like when George had helped people without even knowing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when he hosted Que Locos back in 1999, I mean, he like I said earlier, he was already headlining, bro. He didn't have to host. He hosted that show, bro, and brought a real audience to the show, because the show was okay before George, but when George showed up to host Que Locos, he gave the show fucking credibility, bro. Like, okay, this is no bullshit show with unknown comics. Now we have George Lopez hosting. George Lopez was fucking killing it, bro. He made it so hard for the other comedians to be funny if they were not funny, which was good, because if they sucked, Mike Robles wouldn't put him on the show. When George Lopez brought me up, he said, our next comedian, he goes, I don't like a lot of comedians, but I like this guy. Give it up for Felipe Esparza. And that's what's up, man.
Yeah. No, George he spent a lot of time over here. He always donates a lot of his time to the Dolores Huerta Foundation golf tournament. He comes over here, raises a lot of money. So he's no stranger to this area. I read one of the tweets that you said that one thing that you learned is that Latino men love chisme. And I thought, that hits it on the nail. We do, it's just what we do, man. And it's just like, as much as I don't like to see the infighting between all the Latinos, because we do need to help each other out. The thing about it is that it's going to happen, and you just have to roll with it. And eventually it hopefully comes out of the watch. Like we were talking about Carlos Mencia, when you saw his downfall, he's like, man, he used to spend so much time here. Like I think his brothers passed away, but when they used to come to town, he used to call me up and say, hey man, let's have lunch. And like, they were so personable at that time, even at their peak of their fame, that when everything went down, I felt really bad, man, because you don't want to see anybody go down like that. Now, comedians, I can understand everybody was upset, but you don't like to see, you don't want to see the raza go down like that, man, because it's just like, what's going to happen to the next? Like following you and seeing you since 2010. I could go back and listen to that interview that we had back then to now. I mean, man, you've seen the world since then, man. Like,
man.
You're a different Felipe now, man. So I want you to know that I, as a Latino, as a fellow Latino, very proud of you, a big fan, love these shows. All you got to do is just keep on doing what you're doing, man. Because I tell you, man, everybody loves what you're doing. You're just very natural. I appreciate you being so candid and responding to everything and letting me know your feelings about everything. Because I know it's hard, man, but you got to hang in there for us, man. You got to hang in there.
Hell yeah.
Those fuckers, I know those fuckers aren't going to try to take you down.
I know, bro. One time when Melissa Villaseñor got on SNL, this Chicana woke lady, she went through all her fucking emails, her tweets to find racist shit.
Oh, God.
And he goes, man, I hope nobody does that for me because they're gonna find a lot of bad grammar. No.
Are you friends with Villaseñor?
Yeah.
She's good, man. I think I wish she would come over here. It seems like they always go to Pismo, the Mexican Riviera. They never come over here. They never come to Bakersfield.
She's from Whittier. Her mom and her dad are Chicanos, bro. They went to I don't know what school they went to, but they're Chicanos to the bone.
Yeah. Would you ever do SNL?
Hell yeah, I love to host that shit. I always want my dream was to be there at the end, waving by at the end.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Murphy and shit.
Yeah. So all right. So last one. You have any shout out to your Bakersfield fans?
What's up, Bakersfield? Oh man, Bakersfield is changing, man. I remember there were no vegan restaurants. Now there's a lot of them.
Yep.
There's a lot of them, bro. There's that taco vegan place that's connected to a beauty salon, and then they have a little hamburger stand that's vegan.
There's one right next to our station right here. It's called Vita Vegan, owned by Latinos too, man.
That's just good. I never eaten there, but I saw the menu. I'm gonna see if they could deliver it to the theater.
The whole vegan movement has really resonated with Latinos in the Central Valley. Which is
here in LA too.
Yeah, man. Well, all right, Felipe. I really appreciate you, man, and keep up the great work. I look forward to listening to more episodes of the podcast, and hopefully get out there to see you on Saturday, bro.
Yeah, man. I wanna do sell out Madison Square Garden, bro. Like where WrestleMania was. I want to sell out a Madison Square Garden one day and be like Andrew Dice Clay with a leather jacket on top of the world, Mom.
Oh yeah, man. I remember that. I remember when the Misfits did Halloween there and they sold that out. They put a big Misfit skull on the top of the roof on the outside. They played their Halloween. A couple years ago, they sold it out. So on the roof on the outside of the Madison Square Garden, they had a giant skull. They could put a big Felipe face on there with the hair.
That'd be badass, man.
That'd be badass.
I remember performing at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, and it wasn't sold out. And the stage rotates gently. So it's rotating while I'm on stage, very slow. And then then I would get to I start noticing that I'm performing to the side where there's no audience. Then I would turn my whole body around.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it. Have a great day, man. Have a safe trip, and we'll see you here in Bakersfield, brother.
You too, man. Thank you.
All right. You got it. Peace.
Later.
Thank you, Felipe, for being on Bakotunes. You can find all things Felipe Esparza at felipesworld.com. Catch him live at a theater or club near you. You won't be disappointed. If you'd like to hear some of the classic Bakotunes episodes, including my interviews with Paul Rodriguez and Willie Barcena, just scroll back to your preferred listening service and you will find them there. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode of Bakotunes, you'll find my contact in the episode info box. Thanks for listening. Be good humans.
The Bakotunes podcast with Matt Munoz. New episodes every week. And for the latest, be sure to follow us at Bakotunes on Instagram and Twitter. That's Bakotunes. And be sure to like us, rate us, comment at us, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back next time.